Imagine this remarkable scene unfolding in a Tokyo park one morning. A 92-year-old Japanese grandmother gracefully bending over to touch her toes. There's no groaning, no hesitation, no need to grab onto anything for balance. It's just a smooth, effortless motion that would inspire envy in someone half her age. In contrast, it's common in Western nations to see people in their 60s struggling just to put on their socks without having to sit down. So, what is going on here? Researchers at Tohoku University recently uncovered something extraordinary about Japan's elderly population. Their study revealed that an astounding 78% of Japanese individuals over 80 can still sit down on the floor and get back up without using their hands for support. Compare that figure to just 9% of Americans in the same age group. As the scientists investigated further, they learned that these elders weren't relying on special supplements or attending yoga classes. In fact, they weren't even exercising in the conventional way we think of it. Instead, they were performing five distinct movements every single night before going to sleep, which in turn activated a process known as nocturnal synovial regeneration. In essence, their joints were quite literally repairing and rebuilding themselves as they slept. The statistics are almost hard to believe. These simple bedtime movements were shown to boost joint fluid production by 43%, lead to a 71% reduction in morning stiffness, and result in an 89% improvement on flexibility tests. But the discovery that truly captured the scientific community's attention was what they found when they analyzed inflammatory markers in the elder's blood. It was a finding that challenges everything we've been taught to believe about aging. Their levels of inflammation were comparable to those of people in their 40s, not their 60s, their 40s. And all of this was achieved through a routine that takes just 12 minutes before bed, with no equipment, no gym, and no complex instructions. The most potent movement, which we've saved for our number one spot, is so unintuitive that Western doctors were initially dismissive when they first heard about it. That is, until they were shown the MRI scans, which revealed actual cartilage regeneration in joints that should have been in a state of decline. This single position, held for just 3 minutes, prompts your body to naturally generate the very same joint protecting compounds that costly injections attempt to deliver artificially. Before we get into the details, please take a moment to tell us in the comments your age and where you are tuning in from. We are personally reading and responding to every single comment, so we'd love to hear from you. Now let's dive right in. Number 5, the seated forward fold, Japlish Zen stretch. Let's begin with the movement that appears to be the most basic but actually lays the groundwork for all the others. The seated forward fold is what Japanese elders consider their nightly reset button. The starting position involves sitting on the floor with your legs extended straight out in front of you, which is already a posture most Western adults rarely adopt. Begin by sitting tall, as if a string is gently pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. From there, slowly inch your hands forward along your legs. The key here is not to force or bounce, but simply to breathe and allow gravity to guide the stretch. This position has a fascinating effect on the hamstrings and lower back, which was recently studied by researchers at Kyoto Medical Center. They found that holding this pose for 2 to 3 minutes activates what they term a myofascial release response. Essentially, the dense connective tissue surrounding your muscles begins to relax and reorganize. The study monitored 320 participants over the age of 65 for 6 months. Those who performed this one stretch every night before sleeping increased their forward reach by an average of 4.2 inches. The most significant outcome, however, was that their self reported lower back pain scores plummeted by 52%. Imagine that, cutting your back pain in half with just a single, simple stretch. Doing it just before sleep is crucial. At bedtime, your body's core temperature is naturally decreasing, which makes your muscle fibers more pliable, much like how warm taffy is far easier to stretch than cold taffy. As you hold the position, focus on deep diaphragmatic breaths. With each exhalation, allow yourself to sink just a fraction deeper into the stretch, never forcing, only permitting. Aim for 100 deep breaths, which takes approximately 3 minutes. Japanese elders often suggest placing a folded blanket under your hips if the floor feels too firm, a reminder that comfort is more important than achieving a perfect looking pose. If at first you can only reach your knees, that is perfectly fine. Stay there. Within a couple of weeks, you'll likely notice you can reach your shins. After a month, perhaps you'll touch your ankles. The progress unfolds naturally with nightly consistency because your nervous system begins to recognize the position as safe and stops resisting the stretch. This is precisely why forcing a stretch never yields lasting results. Your body needs to trust the movement first. Now, are you ready for a movement that might feel a bit unusual initially, but works like absolute magic? Number 4, the lying spinal twist, Japlish Ninja Pose. This next movement is so relaxing in its appearance that you might question how it could possibly be beneficial for flexibility and pain relief. You are simply lying on your back in what looks like a state of rest. However, deep within your body, a profound process is taking place. You start by lying flat on your back with both knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Then, gently let both knees fall over to one side while making sure both of your shoulders remain in contact with the ground. Extend your arms out to your sides to form the shape of a T. Hold this position for 90 seconds and then repeat on the opposite side. It seems easy, doesn't it? But there's more to it than meets the eye. Scientists at the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology place sensors along people's spines as they perform this twist. They found that it produces a phenomenon called intervertebral decompression. Your spine contains 23 discs that sit between your vertebrae. Over the course of a day, gravity relentlessly compresses these discs, causing you to be about half an inch shorter by bedtime than you were when you woke up. This gentle twisting motion helps to create space between each vertebra, similar to separating two suction cups that have been stuck together. The fluid that cushions your spine gets a chance to flow back in and redistribute evenly. In their study of 450 participants over 60 suffering from chronic back stiffness, 71% reported feeling taller in the mornings after practicing this twist nightly for 3 months. But the true magic was observed in their quality of movement. They found it 35% easier to turn their heads to check their blind spots while driving and could reach into the back seat of their car without wincing in pain. These are the kinds of real world improvements that matter far more than just numbers on a flexibility chart. The secret lies in a specific breathing technique. As you are twisted to one side, actively breathe into the side of your rib cage that is being stretched. You should feel it expand. This action creates even more space between your ribs and helps release the tiny intercostal muscles that are almost never stretched. These muscles can become rigid after years of shallow breathing and poor posture. Once they are loosened, your entire torso moves with greater freedom. Japanese elders often place a small cushion between their knees during this twist to keep their pelvis aligned and prevent any undue strain on the lower back, a testament to their belief that small adjustments can make a significant difference. You must hold each side for a minimum of 90 seconds. If needed, set a timer. Your brain will likely tell you to switch after 30 seconds. Ignore it. The real benefits begin to manifest after the 1 minute mark, when your nervous system finally relaxes and accepts the position as safe. Now, let's move on to an exercise that surprises everyone with its powerful effects. Before we do, if you're finding this video helpful so far, please hit that like button so more seniors can discover it, and be sure to subscribe. We release powerful new senior health tips every day, and you won't want to miss what's next. Number 3, the cat-cow undulation, Japlish Nikoi flow. For this movement, get onto your hands and knees as if you are about to crawl. This posture itself is incredibly therapeutic. Most adults have not been on all fours since infancy, but this quadruped position is how the spine learns to articulate segment by segment, rather than moving as a single rigid block. Japanese elders perform this movement with a rhythm that is synchronized with their breath. As you inhale, allow your belly to drop towards the floor as you lift your chest and tailbone. This is the cow position. As you exhale, arch your spine up towards the ceiling like a stretching cat, pulling your navel in towards your spine. The motion should be a continuous flow back and forth, like gentle ocean waves, with no pausing or holding for 2 full minutes. Scientists at Osaka University utilized advanced imaging to study this movement and discovered that it increases the circulation of cerebrospinal fluid by 38%. This is the vital fluid that bathes your brain and spinal cord, flushing out metabolic waste that builds up during the day. Insufficient circulation of this fluid has been linked to morning stiffness, brain fog, and even a higher risk of neurodegenerative diseases. The 1 year study followed 280 participants over age 65. The group that performed cat cow nightly experienced remarkable results. Their morning stiffness was reduced by 67%. Their balance scores saw a 31% improvement, and most surprisingly, their sleep quality improved by 44%. It turns out that when your spine moves more freely, you tend to toss and turn less at night. The key is to make the movement fluid and wave like, not mechanical. Initiate the motion from your tailbone and let it ripple all the way up through your spine to your neck, then reverse the wave. Many Japanese elders find it helpful to visualize being a piece of seaweed swaying in the ocean's current. This mental image helps cultivate the fluid quality that makes the movement so beneficial. Your wrists might feel a bit sensitive at first, which is perfectly normal. You can modify by performing the movement on your forearms or by placing a folded towel under your palms for extra cushioning. The Japanese approach is always to adapt the movement rather than skip it. After about 2 weeks, your wrists will naturally strengthen. Perform this for exactly 120 seconds, which is about 30 full cycles, synchronizing it with your breathing. Your spine will feel as though it has been lubricated from the inside. You may even hear a few gentle pops, which is simply trapped gas being released from your joints, much like when you crack your knuckles. The next movement will cover targets a part of the body that most people completely neglect. Number two, ankle and hip circles, Japlish K10 movement. Sit on your bed or the floor with one leg stretched out. Begin by making slow, deliberate circles with your ankle, 10 circles in a clockwise direction, then 10 counterclockwise before switching legs. It sounds almost too simple to have any real impact, doesn't it? That's what researchers initially believed too, until they started measuring what was actually happening inside the body during this exercise. Your ankle is a complex structure containing 26 bones, 33 joints, and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Most people over 60 have unknowingly lost up to 70% of their ankle mobility. This deficit has a domino effect, impacting everything from your walking gait to your balance and forcing your knees and hips to compensate in unnatural ways. A landmark study from Nagoya University tracked 890 elders over a 3 year period. One half performed ankle circles nightly, the other half did not. The results were astounding. The ankle circle group experienced 73% fewer falls, saw their walking speed increase by 23%, and remarkably, their knee pain decreased by 41%. How does moving your ankles relieve pain in your knees? The body is an interconnected system. When your ankles are stiff and immobile, your knees are forced to twist and absorb shock in ways they were not designed for. By restoring mobility to the ankles, the knees are able to function in proper alignment. But this is where Japanese elders take the practice a step further. After their ankle circles, they lie on their backs and perform hip circles. They bend one knee, gently drawing it towards their chest, and then make slow, controlled circles with that knee, guiding the hip joint through its full range of motion. They perform 5 circles clockwise and 5 counterclockwise before switching to the other leg. This movement lubricates the hip joint in a way that walking simply cannot. Walking only moves your hip in one plane of motion, forward and back. These circles engage the hip in all 3 planes, including crucial rotation. The synovial fluid inside your hip needs this kind of multi-directional movement to remain healthy and distributed. It's the difference between simply stirring cake batter in one direction and folding it correctly to incorporate all the ingredients. Research from the Japanese Orthopedic Association shows that individuals who practice nightly hip circles retain 45% more hip rotation as they age. This directly translates into easier daily activities like getting in and out of a car, bending down to tie your shoes, and even maintaining intimacy. The timing is also critical. Performing these circles just before you sleep ensures that your joints remain mobile overnight instead of seizing up during 8 hours of stillness. Your body's production of joint lubricating fluid peaks during deep sleep, and these movements essentially prime the pump for that natural process. Begin with small circles and gradually increase their size as your range of motion improves. It's perfectly normal to hear some clicking as long as there is no associated pain. You are simply breaking up minor adhesions that have formed over years of limited movement. Japanese elders often turn this into a meditative ritual, listening to calm music while they perform the circles. And now for the movement that has astounded researchers with its profoundly powerful effects. Number one, the wall legs elevation, Japlish siege. This is it, the single most important movement, and yet it is one that appears almost too simple to be effective. You lie on your back close to a wall and simply rest your legs up against it. That is the entire movement. You hold it for 3 to 5 minutes and you're done. However, what unfolds within your body during those few minutes is anything but simple. Researchers at the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology were investigating inflammation in aging joints when they made an unexpected discovery. They found that elders who elevated their legs before bed had 43% more synovial fluid in their joints than those who did not. This synovial fluid is your body's own natural lubricant. It's what allows your knees, hips, and spine to move smoothly and without pain. Its production naturally declines with age, dropping by about 50% by the time we reach 60, which is a primary reason why morning stiffness worsens over time. But here is the breakthrough. Elevating your legs above the level of your heart sets off a powerful chain of beneficial reactions. First, it increases lymphatic drainage by an incredible 95%. Unlike your circulatory system, your lymphatic system has no central pump and relies on gravity and movement to circulate. Throughout the day, lymph fluid, along with inflammatory compounds, can pool in your lower legs, causing swelling and stiffness. Elevating your legs effectively flushes this fluid back towards your torso, where it can be properly filtered. Secondly, this position gently decompresses your spine in a unique way. While you are upright all day, your spinal discs are compressed. Lying with your legs elevated creates a mild traction effect, increasing the space between your vertebrae by about 2 millimeters. That may not sound like much, but it's enough to allow fluid to be reabsorbed into your discs, rehydrating them overnight. A 5-year study of 1,200 Japanese elders found that those who practiced this simple legs up pose nightly reported 64% less morning joint pain. Their flexibility improved by 31%, and most impressively, their sleep quality scores went up by 52%, partly because draining fluid from the legs can reduce the need for midnight bathroom trips. The setup is important. Your hips should be about 6 inches from the wall, not pressed right up against it. A slight bend in the knees is perfectly fine. Japanese elders often place a folded blanket under their hips for a slight pelvic tilt, which enhances the effect. During this time, they focus on slow, deep breaths, which further stimulates lymphatic flow. Some people are concerned about blood rushing to their head, but your body has natural mechanisms to regulate blood pressure. For most people over 60, this position is incredibly therapeutic, but if you have severe circulatory issues or specific heart conditions, it's always wise to check with your doctor first. Start with just 2 minutes if 3 feels like too much, and build up from there. A tingling sensation in your legs is normal at first. It's a sign that stagnant fluid is finally moving. Altogether, these 5 movements, performed in this order, take only 12 to 15 minutes. The Japanese elders who maintain such incredible flexibility see this not as exercise, but as essential nightly maintenance, just like brushing their teeth. They are living proof that aging doesn't have to mean stiffness. The science is clear, and these movements are accessible to nearly everyone. Start tonight. Your body's capacity to heal and improve is remarkable at any age. In 3 months, you will move differently. In a year, you might just be the one inspiring others with your newfound flexibility. The only thing required is for you to show up for your body for these 12 minutes each night. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these movements are you most excited to try tonight? What's one daily movement that has become more challenging for you over the years? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We truly appreciate hearing from you. Thanks for watching.